Cosmic Girl 101 signing on for the Capricorn full moon video. Hope you're all doing well out there. Now, a full moon is a very lit time of the month. Everyone's very excited. I think it's important, apart from looking at charts, understanding astrology, get outside and step under the stars and look at the full moon. Anchor yourself to the planet that we live on and appreciate the cycles of the moon and just look at it. It's amazing. And humanity's been connected to this planet for eons. It's the closest thing to Earth. It's always changing, and we are very connected to it. So if you could do yourself a favor, try to get outside and actually look at the bloody moon. It's so much about listening about it and looking at charts, and it's like, have you ever stepped outside and looked at it? This is what we do at the full moon cycles, and we can do it at any particular cycle. Get in touch with the physical appearance of the moon and really start to connect with it, because it's closely connected to us on planet Earth. So that's my little homework for all of us. Get outside and actually be in the full moonbeams. Enjoy it, love it, appreciate it. It's bright, unless of course there's cloud cover. It's always going to provide a very anchoring experience of, wow, okay, I'm connecting with the moon, and have a visual, have a connection with it. All right, so that's your homework. Now, this full moon, let's just quickly go through the chart, and then I'm going to let you know what I've researched for the future when the moon in Capricorn is not connected to Pluto any longer. And I found this research interesting, and I hope you do too. Okay, so looking at the chart, we've got the full moon in Capricorn, 29 degrees, opposing the sun in Cancer, 29 degrees. The moon is only bright because it reflects the sunshine. So we've got that moon standing apart from the sun, trying to be its own thing, separate from the sun, which is the constant. So what becomes constant about the sun is that we rely on it. It's always there, and it outshines. So when you have a full moon, it's like, oh, this is my moment. And, this is me. You're not interrupting me. Unless we're in eclipse time, we're having lunar eclipses. The sun is basically not interrupting lunar themes to come through strongly. So what are the lunar themes in Capricorn on a mundane level? Obviously, I don't know everyone's chart. So a full moon in the sign of Capricorn at the last degree of 29 degrees, conjunct planet Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, retrograde. Retrograde. Not direct, it's retrograde. Very key information connected to this lunation. 29 degrees moon, an exact sextile to retrograde Neptune in Pisces, sextiling the lunation, and the dispositor being Saturn of the lunation is retrograde in Pisces as well, in a sextile whole sign aspect. These are the nuances that are significant when it comes to this full moon. So the full moon's standing out. It's not afflicted by the sun. It's just doing its own lunar thing in the sign of Capricorn, which is really visual, hard to miss. So when we're talking about Capricorn topics, we are talking about established structures that have been developed and cared for and nurtured for over a very long period of time, that is going to support and sustain for the future. It's a solid, predictable, there's been a lot of hard yakka connected to anything developed in the sign of Capricorn. It's been hard yards. And there'll be bumps and there'll be bruises and there will be cracks because Saturn is connected to Capricorn, which is time, a lot of effort, a lot of rigidity, a lot of hard to move energy. So a full moon here for us on the 21st or 22nd of July, depends where you're on the planet, we can see the cracks. We can see the weathered moon. It's hard to miss. The archaic, dried up, dried out Saturn moon. And for all of us, it's going to be hard to miss the exhaustion that everyone may be experiencing. It's going to be hard to miss the flaws because there will always be flaws and cracks and weathering connected to anything Capricorn because it's been in everyone's space for a very, very long time, personally or in the world. You're not going to go to a museum and see artifacts in their brand new state. We appreciate the time gone by and how old things are and the appreciation of preservation in buildings, in architecture, very old architecture. It's very Saturnian. Things that have stood the test of time. That's Saturn in Capricorn and Saturn of itself. There's nothing that Saturn does in our personal charts or what Saturn does without the school of hard knocks, hard lessons, the grit, determination, and the just chop wood, carry water theory to get something established that is sustainable and can outlive itself. Now, that's a lot of pressure for anybody to consider. Wow, I didn't. But you consider this lunation on this day. What's going to be obvious is the weathered aspects of the body and what we're seeing on the world stage, connected to structures, buildings, organizations, finance, institutions, schooling, education. Anything to do with Capricorn is to do with things that have been part of our existence for a very, very long time. So the full moon is going to expose, the flaws, the cracks, the wrinkles, the dry skin, the dryness, the coldness. And then sometimes we can flip the script to go, we really appreciate that. But the dynamics here, I don't think are about appreciation anymore for us at the time of this lunation. However you're experiencing it is going to be appreciated because there's something that still needs to be restructured, renovated, excavated, with Neptune and Saturn retrograde in Pisces sextiling the moon and retrograde Pluto. There's excavation to do, there's digging up to do. We need to repair. What we can see on the surface is very obvious, so we need to repair now. So everyone's going into repair mode. And everyone's scrambling because the dispositor in the sign of Pisces, Saturn isn't strong in Pisces. Pisces is a yin, water, mutable sign. Changes, adapts, flips the script in water, fluctuates. It's up, it's down, it's in, it's out. It's all over the place. It's the dimensional part of our lives, and Saturn goes, just give me the piece of wood and I will whittle away until I make a beautiful piece of furniture. And in the sign of Pisces, it's like, yeah, we want you to do that. But while you're doing that, we want you to sit on a lake, and the lake will fluctuate and move all the time and see how you go. It's not sturdy. It's not going to be stable. It's going to take longer to construct and have a product that we are proud of and that we feel accomplished and certain about. So when does this all change? What else? Hang on, before I get into what I want to talk about mostly, believe it or not, is let's look at the other aspects connected to this lunation. Okay, so you can see from my perspective, this is chop wood, carry water. We're looking at the weathered, the old, very nothing structured. We need to keep going. It's all very uncertain, and it's going to be obvious that something's archaic and odd. We want to change it and transform it, and we're not done. We're not done. We're nowhere near done. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I do not see this as done. Wherever you have this full moon in your natal chart, you are not done. What's obvious is that something's old and weathered. You either appreciate this or you restructure it now, retransform it, and you find the wealth in the arduous cycle, whatever part of this chart and house it is in for you. A hard school of hard knocks lessons going on here, I think, for this full moon nation, for all of us. Excuse me. So what else do we have going on here? We've got that 26-degree Uranus sextiling retrograde Neptune. I find this important. Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius, where Pluto's retrograde as well. So the change and the sudden change and the innovative change and freedom oriented and let's look at the future. Uranus has changed things up. You've got Pluto retrograding there, so it's like I don't know if there's going to be many changes that are certain yet. I'm not feeling it. The chart doesn't reflect anything ending here at all. For me, you can disagree. That's called free will and agency. And also, what else can I see here? I mean, you've got Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter's doing his best to stand out from the crowd and be vocal and be bold. But, Jupiter's about creating order out of chaos. It's all about, streamlining and making things go just so. So Jupiter in Gemini at this time for all of us too, I think we can at least acknowledge the bigger visions and talk about them. But there's not a lot of structure connected to Jupiter being able to make things just so. I think you'll find that when Jupiter goes into its exaltation sign of Cancer next year, we may start to really appreciate Jupiterian themes that are brewing now that will come into more physical actuation when it ingresses into the sign of Cancer. It's exaltation. That's what I'm personally thinking anyway. For now, it's just like going back and forth. Gemini, two options, two paths, split decisions, this way or that way. Gemini's two. Yeah, I just don't think Jupiter's operating, and it is in detriment in the sign of Gemini as well. So for me, if anything, Jupiter can at least make people speak a little bit louder. And look at how we can rally in all of our options and a plethora of tools around us to create some order out of chaos. I think that's helpful. Whether it comes to pass or not, I don't know, but I just don't think it's going to happen at the full moon. I do not. What else do we have going on here? So we've got Mercury and Venus co-present in the sign of Leo. Living it up large, being very opinionated, very flirty, very social, standing out like a sore thumb in the sign of Leo, which cannot shut up and is difficult to dim their shine. And that's not a bad thing, but we're talking about a fixed fire sign here. So Mercury, too quick in movement, it's with Leo or it isn't. It's not too phased. Venus, loving up the attention, very indulgent. We might be spending more, overcompensating more with relationships or indulgent purchases or just, we're tuning out and we're just channeling into ourselves or what we love. That could be helpful and sometimes it can't. But I just think Venus and Leo and Mercury co-present there. I just think there's a lot of head in the sand, and I don't feel like it's really certain with its decisions and speech and its actions. Venus and Mercury and Leo. Just don't think it's because they move too quickly, and in the fixed fire sign of Leo, I mean, it's like the slow burn. But I don't know if it lasts. That's just my opinion from an astrological point of view. Um, but Venus and Mercury are sextiling Jupiter in Gemini, so it's easier to spend money and think about things from a different lens and be open to information and exchanges of dialogue. That could be helpful. What else can I say? Yeah. I mean, and then the sun's going to oppose Pluto, and yeah, okay. The sun's been opposing Pluto, all the time. So for me, this just doesn't bother me. I just think nothing's really bothering me except that if people can just understand where you're way off completing anything in the Capricorn house in your chart at the full moon. I just think this is acknowledgement of you're ready to excavate and change the tired, old, archaic structures. We need to find firmer ground. Retrograde Saturn in Pisces, no way. No way. No way are we anywhere near finishing up anything with complete certainty. And again, that won't be for all of us, but that's what I'm saying. Okay, so if you're still here, thank you. But this is just my opinion about this lunation. And every astrologer is going to have their own take on it, right? So yeah, the full moon in Capricorn. I'm just looking back at my notes. Now, this is where it gets interesting for me when I've done my lunar research, is about when Pluto is out of Dodge and not affecting any lunations for the moon when it's in the sign of Capricorn. So we've got, I was going to say don't forget, but Pluto's retrograde in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is ruled by the sun Uranus and Saturn. Pluto's going to be going through the sign of Aquarius for 20 plus years when it goes direct. And that will be on November 19. It ingresses into Aquarius and goes direct for 20 plus years. That's Saturn's sign. That is Saturn's sign, as well as Uranus. Okay? Take a deep breath, guys. It's all true. Right. So, we have on September 1st, Pluto retrograding back into Capricorn at 29 degrees, where this lunation is. Okay? I'm giving you a flavour of where you can potentially start to see the excavation happen, the repairs happen, and some turnarounds. This is just the acknowledgement of the excavation and changes needed of things that are old and weathered. Okay? So it goes back, Pluto dips back into that 29th degree of Capricorn where this full moon is. And on October 11, Pluto then goes direct in Capricorn, the 29th degree. Okay? So September and then October, then you've got Pluto going direct. And then November 19, it ingresses back into Aquarius, the sign of Saturn. And you have Pluto in Aquarius for nearly 20 years. The sign, Pluto going into Aquarius, the sign of Saturn. Now, this is really interesting if you like following lunar cycles, and the whole point of this is I'm trying to identify. Guys, this is when we need to process when we can actually start seeing the results of what we consider to be the end of this Capricorn theme in our charts. Before the 19th of November, when Pluto ingresses into the sign of Aquarius for 20 plus years, when Pluto goes there, on the 7th of November, the moon in Capricorn is waxing in Capricorn and conjuncts retrograde Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees. I shit you not. This is fascinating to me. So we have a moon conjunct Pluto on the 21st, 22nd of July this year. On the 7th of November, when Pluto is retrograding back into the sign of Capricorn at 29 degrees, we have a waxing moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees conjunct. Okay? That's the 7th of November. Then November 19 ingresses back into the sign of Aquarius at 0 degrees for 20 plus years. On the 29th of December, Pluto reaches 1 degrees in the sign of Aquarius. Saturn's direct in the sign of Pisces. And Neptune is direct in the sign of Pisces at this time. On the 31st of December, there's a new moon in Capricorn at 10 degrees. No Pluto. No Pluto. The 31st of December. On the 1st of January 2025, the moon in Capricorn is at 29 degrees. On the 1st of January, conjunct Pluto at 1 degrees in Aquarius, Saturn's at 14 degrees Pisces direct, and Neptune's at 27 degrees direct in Pisces. Sextiling the new moon in Capricorn. Okay? So you can hear or see how this full moon is nowhere near being done, whatever house this is in your chart. No way. What you are seeing is the potential to change and acknowledge something's weathered. There are cracks. Let's just, until we've got that complete waning moon going through all the cycles of the moon cycles until the 31st of December, moving into the 1st of January, then we can open things up and we can start to begin again with more confidence and certainty, with Saturn and Neptune direct, sextiling the moon, and Capricorn with Pluto not involved in Capricorn. It's separating because it'll be at 1 degree by then. So that is my take on the lunation. I'm not a Debbie Downer. I just feel it's significant to point out really obvious things in this chart on this day for people. Because it's the full moon cycle, it's the graduation point, we're done. You're not. You are not. And that's okay. That's Saturn saying it's okay. We're just wrapping shit up here. We're just doing it tough at the moment. You know, Saturn's in Pisces, you know, wait till Saturn goes into Aries, guys. Saturn's in fall in the sign of Aries for a couple of years. Neptune in Aries. Wait till Saturn and Neptune get into Aries. I mean, this, yeah. But please remember that Pluto going into the sign of Aquarius is Saturn's sign as well as Uranus. Uranus is squaring Aquarius and Pluto until 2026. We'll get a preview. I think it's 2025 when Uranus will go Oh no, maybe not. No, it's 2026. Yeah, Uranus will go into Gemini and trine Pluto in Aquarius. Right now, Uranus, the dispositor, the modern dispositor of Aquarius, is in square to, fucking, to Pluto, and then it'll trine Pluto in Aquarius when it gets into the sign of Gemini. Jupiter's trining Pluto in Aquarius just at the moment for a little bit longer. But Jupiter's a detriment, so I'm not real happy about that. Yeah. Anyway, it's a personal thing. So look, there's still things to come. But yeah, Saturn's the modern the the ancient ruler of the sign of Aquarius, where Pluto will be transiting for 20+ years. Do I feel oh no, nothing's going to change for the next 20 years? I just think it's going to be easier because Aquarius is an intellectual sign. It's very cerebral. Capricorn's very earthy. Really hard grind, hard to move. But in Aquarius, it might be easier being Saturn being the dispositor of Aquarius, where Pluto's now going to be going through that sign. It might be easier to shift things a lot quicker than it was in Capricorn. I think that might be an easier transit for Pluto. But stay tuned. We'll see. Anyway, that's my rant. Thanks for tuning in on Cosmic Girl 101. Please feel free to leave any comments. I'm open to comments. That's why I'm here on a public forum. Let me know how you go, what you think, what are your thoughts. Get outside and have a look at the full moon, guys, if you're able to. Great time to grab some new crystals and then leave them outside under the full moon. Give them a wash in salt water, let them dry out, leave them outside in the full moon. Great time to get new crystals for your home or start to work with crystals. If you have them, give them a salt water bath, let them dry out, be under the moonbeams, draw down that energy, work with the earth. The crystals are from the earth. The moon's closest to Earth, and it's beaming down all its energy and rays. And it might be a great time on this, to do, if you're into moon cycle practices, be it through meditation, ceremonies, for example. This might be the moon to do to get the proverbial head out of the sand and really look at things. Look at the cracks, look at the dry skin, look at the teeth, look at the bones, look at the structure, and go, could do better here, which we all could do better, but at least acknowledge something or appreciate something for what it is and know that things are slowly going to be changing. But we aren't there yet. We're look at the 31st of December, the 1st of January 2025, when Pluto is nowhere near connected in as much as it's not connected to the sign of Capricorn. It's in the sign of Aquarius, direct, moving away, going forward. Alrighty, I'll leave it there. Wow, that's a long video. But that's my take. And yeah, I'm Cosmic Girl 101. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my YouTube channel. Slowly growing. I'm really proud of that. And it's all because of astrology enthusiasts like you. And I also do tarot, monthly tarots. If you like your tarot, go ahead and listen to some tarot readings. I do them for the sun signs, and I do monthly rising sign astrologies, mainly because it falls with your natural wheelhouse chart as a rising sign. All right, I'll leave it there. Take care. Have a great moon lunation, and I'll catch you next time.